Hello, welcome to Yellow Door Urban Homestead. I am Asian. I'm an urban gardener growing in a small space in my backyard. Tonight, I'm going to take you on a garden tour. This will be the October garden tour. Most things in the garden is fall, but I have some summer things left, and we're going to go ahead and harvest them together and go ahead and do a garden tour so you can see the growth and the things that are working, the things that may not be working so well, but we're going to go ahead and look it over. We are, of course, going to start with these loofah. The loofahs are looking really good. They need a very long growing season. So these are all of the loofahs that are growing right now. The plant isn't looking so well, but the loofahs are looking good. So we are predicted to have a frost next week. And so the loofahs that are a decent size, like this one here and like the one over here, I'm gonna go ahead and cut. I'm probably gonna cut all of them. There's another one in there. They're kind of growing everywhere. I'm gonna let them dry in the house. I'm probably going to start them a little bit early next year. I think I said that before too, and get them planted out as soon as I can, because I feel like they would probably have started producing earlier than they did. Like there's still flowers starting to grow. So it's still flowering in October. And so I'm kind of hoping that we don't get this frost that they say we're going to get. But if we do, I am going to let them dry in the house. I watch Stiver's Homestead, and they were going to get a frost, and they took them in the house, and they said it absolutely works. They will dry in the house. And so that is what I'm going to try to do. The peas that I planted out a very long time ago still aren't really growing. They germinated, they came up, but they aren't really growing, so not really sure. They're stunted. Maybe they'll start growing once it gets cooler. I'm not sure, but the peas look horrible. Bed right behind the peas, looking pretty good. Something has been digging in here. You can see where the soil is kind of disturbed. So I've been coming in and putting the soil back. But if you remember, that's the collard that was eaten down. This is one of the collards that was eaten down. This is a kale that was eaten down. They're trying to grow. I'm leaving them. We planted radishes together and beets. And so we have germination on all of those. These are cauliflower. Haven't really been successful with growing cauliflower. So they're in the bed. I'm not giving them too much thought because I never really grow them well. This is a red Russian kale. Tastes really good. I love them. So that's what these four are. This is all kale right here. These are two more cauliflower, and this was an extra Brussels sprout that I have, and that's looking pretty strong. So I'm excited. If these Brussels sprouts and the Brussels sprouts in the other bed grow this year, this will be my first time successfully growing Brussels sprouts. I want to show y'all something. I got more volunteer potatoes over in the tote. Like I harvested them and I thought I got them all, but I got volunteer potatoes again. And so I'm sure I won't get a potato harvest from it, but I'm just gonna let the leaves and stuff die back, and I'm gonna leave the potatoes in there, probably cover with some leaves, and hopefully next year they will start to grow early in the season. So I'm gonna show you. So this is my old compost tote, and I just kind of left it because I made the compost bins, and I got one flush of volunteer potatoes, and now I'm getting another one. But again, I doubt that I'm going to get an actual harvest out of it, but I wanted to show you, if you leave your potatoes in the ground, they may come back up again. The carrots are looking really good. I still haven't gotten around to thinning this bag, but there are some that are growing like nice size stalks. I don't know if I can show you, but like right there, that's a nice size root. I really need to get in here and thin. And that's the other bag that I never got to reseed, but that might have been a good thing, because they seem to have way more space and they're growing bigger roots right now. So probably a good thing, but I definitely need to get into this bag and thin that out. So with the frost coming, I was thinking like I'm not going to harvest any of my peppers anymore at this point until the frost is coming and I'm finishing up the peppers. But I decided, no, I'm going to go ahead and harvest them because maybe, fingers crossed, not quotes, fingers crossed, I can get some of the other ones that haven't ripened to go ahead and ripen if I pull the ones that have already started blushing. So I'm going to go ahead and harvest the peppers. But these are all peppers except for this tomato plant, which has flowers and it wasn't dropping flowers, but I don't think I'm gonna get a tomato off of it. I do, however, think that if I pull a sucker earlier in the season and start to replant them in bags, that I will probably be able to get another flush of tomatoes, and the plants will be healthier like all the way into the fall. So probably gonna do that next year. But let's go ahead and harvest these cayenne peppers. There's a lot of peppers in here. I do not think, you see those two? Those are green peppers, which they're supposed to turn orange because I don't like green peppers, but there's a lot of peppers that are still growing. I still have flowers on my plants. I don't know if you can see that. And they're all grown in bags. I'm sure if you aren't new here, you know that, but if you are, I grow all of my peppers in bags. But let's go ahead and harvest these. If they're blushing at all, I'm gonna go ahead and pull them off because they will continue to ripen in the house. Got an orange one right there. It's a Jimmy Nardello that's blushing a very small amount. This is a pimento that was blushing. We're gonna go ahead and go over to the other pepper plants and harvest those as well. I have some jalapenos. I have some small, orange lunchbox peppers that need to go. Some paprikas, banana peppers. So I have a few things that need to go. So we're gonna go ahead and harvest those too. So just recently, I started fertilizing my peppers with comfrey tea. I think it's helping. I really do. I think that's where I'm getting all the extra flowers this late in the season from. I think that's why the plants still look a little bit better than I think they would have if I had stopped fertilizing altogether. So I'm definitely going to give that comfrey tea thing more of a presence in my garden next year. And I grow comfrey. Comfrey is a very good fertilizer. And so it can take over your garden depending on which variety you get. I don't really know which variety I got because I got them out of a seed swap. So let's do a little bit more talking about what my garden looks like right now. So over here, if you remember, I said I wasn't gonna plant in this bed because I didn't think the bed got enough sun in the fall. But the plants over here are doing pretty good. These are cabbages. These are 2 cabbages. I got them from my local feed and seed. And these are kohlrabi. And you can see they're actually starting to bulb. I do like kohlrabi. I make kohlrabi fries. Doesn't actually taste like a French fry, but they do have a very good taste. They kind of taste like cabbage and like a broccoli stem. I always roast mine. I love them. They taste really good. I like powder them a little bit with some flour, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, put them in the oven. Very good. They're very delicious. I like them. Over here, you have the mint that everyone probably remembers. I cut back. It has all grown back again. And then this is feverfew, which the leaves are good from what I hear for migraines. I saw that over on the Honeystead. They just did a video about this. So I'm gonna go ahead and harvest these as well between now and the weekend, and I'm gonna dehydrate them, or I may let them air dry. I had been only picking the flowers, and that's what I have in the house. But when I was watching the video the other day, they said that the leaves are really good medicinally too. So I'm gonna go ahead and harvest those. This mint, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I'm not doing anything with this mint. We have way too much already. My mother came and got some. It is still growing. So it's just gonna kind of stay here until it dies back, and it'll grow back next year because it is a perennial. The strawberry bed has still not gotten any attention. It looks so full because the runners have planted themselves. We have some more flowers coming. I doubt we'll get any strawberries from those flowers, but there's flowers over here too. But I'm gonna go through here, pull the runners out. Last year, I covered my strawberry bed, like I cut them all the way down. I covered them with straw. I lost a lot of strawberry plants that way because I think it was too wet. They didn't get a lot of sun in the bed that they were in, and then they were covered, and so the moisture just kind of set in them. And so I lost a lot of strawberries. Good thing is strawberries reroot and throw their runners and they'll root themselves. And so this year I'm gonna do that differently. I'm not gonna cut them back. I'm gonna let the weather. I'm gonna let nature kill them off. And then, like I said, before that happens though, I am gonna pull the runners so that next year all of the plants have the space that they need. Look at that beautiful marigold that is still growing, still re-rooting and trying to grow. I'm leaving that for now. But this weekend, we're gonna say bye-bye to the eggplant. We have an eggplant right here, actually. I don't really care about the plant anymore. This is one eggplant. We have a few little small eggplant on there. But we're gonna say goodbye to them because Vigo Garden Beds gave me some garden beds earlier this year, and so I want to put one of them here and let it overwinter. So I'm gonna put some compost in it, probably some of the chicken bedding, and I'm just gonna let it overwinter so we can plant into that bed next year, because this bed doesn't get enough sun for anything to grow during the fall. But this weekend we're gonna say bye to the eggplants. They've been wonderful though, I will say that. So the bed over here, this is where we were growing cucumbers. Oh, look, there's another strawberry flower. These are the ones that I grew from runners in the bed. I just planted them in pots this year. If you've been here for a while, you were here with me. This one died and I just replanted another one recently. And look at all of that. Look at all those weeds in there. Definitely need to get those out. And that's the other one. So they will come back next year too. But over here, this is where the sweet potatoes were. I harvested them last week or early this week. I'm not sure, maybe Sunday. And so that's all cleared. The basil is still growing, although I harvested it like I did a really big harvest of this basil that was here. So that'll die back once we get our first frost. And then this bed will be clear and I will cover it with leaves because it also does not get enough sun in the fall and winter time. The second sowing of beans did not do so well, although I have gotten a half-gallon bag of the beans from this sowing. But next year, I will probably sow a little bit denser on this trellis for my second sowing. All right, and so over here, this was a bed that I said I wasn't going to plant in because I thought we didn't get enough sun over here. I was wrong. So this is collards. That's a pretty little pansy. There's some Swiss chard right here, and there's a small calendula in there, but we're not going to worry about that. I wanted way more broccoli this year, and I have way more broccoli this year. So the first 6 are broccoli. The last 2 are more kohlrabi. And so these are also starting to bulb. So pretty excited about this. This one, whoever was digging, whatever was digging, also dug over here and it kind of broke the plant. But I just came around the bottom and put more soil around it. And it is still living, still looking good, but it will flop over. And so I'll probably mound it up a little bit more. But all of these plants were planted out probably a week or 2 behind the plants that's in the bed. So they're a little bit smaller, but it kind of gives me a succession of broccoli. And so they won't all come ready at the same time. Also, my dahlias are still trying to bloom. These are the only dahlias left and the only zinnias left, but they're still trying to bloom. So it's pretty cool. I'm going to probably pull those out before the frost and grab the dahlia tubers out of there. And so the middle bed is looking absolutely amazing if you ask me. These are all collards on the back end. And so with collards, I could start eating these leaves right now, but it is said that once you get your first frost, that collards and most of the leafy green vegetables are sweeter. So I won't start eating them right now. I will wait until it gets a little bit cooler. The cilantro is looking good. The nasturtiums are starting to get their footing, but that's unfortunate because we're going to have a frost sooner or later. There's more cilantro in there as well. The dinosaur kale is still looking good. Swiss chard on both ends are looking good. Swiss chard is also like a cut and come again. So as it gets cooler and we get our first frost, I will start to harvest these leaves, but leave the plants because they will keep growing. Well, super excited about the turnips. I'm actually starting to see turnips forming. If you remember, I thinned these a little while ago, and I think that's made a huge difference in the way that they are growing. And so right here you have the cabbages, and there are some calendula, and we have one little bloom on that calendula. I don't have a clue what's wrong with this cabbage, but it's just started like being really weird. None of the other cabbages around it are doing it, so I won't worry about it. Swiss chard here is looking really good. This is all broccoli, and all the way to the back you have some Brussels sprouts. So that Brussels sprout plant is looking really healthy. And there's some more cilantro over here and some more nasturtiums as well. That's looking pretty good. We still have these tomatoes, which we're gonna go ahead and harvest together. Anything that's blushing, I'm gonna harvest. I topped these tomatoes. What topped mean is I pulled off the part that was still growing. I pulled off most of the suckers, any branches that did not have tomatoes on them, in hopes that they would start ripening. And it seems to have worked because I did this on Sunday. We now have ripening tomatoes. And then in the last bed, you have rutabaga, which is getting stronger. And you can see that's kind of multi-sown, not on purpose, just how I left it. And they are getting stronger, and they are starting to get much thicker, which means I believe the roots are starting to grow. You have cabbage here, broccoli here, broccoli rabe. If you have not had success growing broccoli, I would say give broccoli rabe a try. It is very easy to grow. It's a little bit bitter than broccoli, but it's very easy to grow, and you can get a lot of broccoli rabe off of one plant. It is bitter though, I'm not gonna lie to you about that. The snapdragons are still looking good. They don't have many blooms, but I do have some, and I think they're beautiful. And then there is the Brussels sprouts in the back of this garden bed as well. I could not remember when I was planting this section if the broccoli rabe got taller than the Brussels sprouts. They do. And so I'm just gonna leave it because I have Brussels sprouts in other places, but next year I will remember broccoli rabe needs to go in the back of the bed. The artichoke plants are looking better than they have all season. They struggled so bad in the heat of the season, and so now they are starting to get their footing, and I'm pretty excited about that because I really want to grow an artichoke and an artichoke flower. I want to harvest one to eat, and I want one to go to flower because they are so beautiful. It's a pretty purple flower. And so this weekend, the asparagus, I'm just gonna pull it. Most of it, in my opinion, except for a few shoots, are brown. So we have a few greens, but most of them are brown. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut them down to the ground. This weekend, I'm gonna throw a good amount of compost on them, throw leaves over it, because asparagus is perennial. And so the crown stays in the ground and it comes back up when the weather is right. And so we got a lot of shoots from them this year. So I do believe that I will be lucky next year to get some asparagus. And last but not least are all of the pepper plants that are still left. I have decided that I am going to overwinter 5 or 6 varieties because I think I will be able to pay attention and do what I'm supposed to do this year. But all of these peppers are still here. All the peppers there are still here. And all the peppers over there are still here. I'm gonna give them a chance to hopefully ripen what's on there. I won't worry about the flowers that's on there, although I could pull those flowers because I'm not gonna get an actual harvest off of those flowers at this point. I mean, I truly doubt I will. So I could pull those flowers so that, it's been falling this whole video, so that the plant can put its energy into ripening the ones that's on there. And I may do that over the weekend, but I'm not sure about that. I'm kind of over the peppers, if I'm honest, because now I have to go and find something to do with these peppers. I'm losing light as normal, but I appreciate you watching. I hope that you enjoyed this garden tour. It's getting to that time of year where it's not going to be a lot to show and a lot to talk about, so I have to figure out what I'm going to do because I enjoy being here with you all. Thanks for watching. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your week. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to visit me over on Instagram where I post about the things going on in the garden almost every day. Bye.